Okay, so, you sent me over a bunch of really interesting stuff about how people find information online these days.
Yeah.
And it feels like we were just figuring out Google a little while ago,
Right.
and now everything's changing again. So I think it's time for a deep dive into this.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's, it's really rapidly evolving. And what we're seeing is this rise of what's being called Generative Engine Optimization,
Okay.
GEO for short.
GEO.
And, you know, forget keywords and backlinks.
All
The
right.
whole way search engines work is changing.
Yeah, it sounds very Star Trek, next generation GEO.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, we were in the SEO world for so long, and that was all about, getting in that list on the search results page.
Yeah.
But now AI is coming in and basically writing its own answers.
I think its
So
old rules are.
going out the window.
Yeah. That's the big change that's happening.
Yeah.
And, if you think about even your own experience, when you search for things now, you're seeing AI-powered tools like Google's SGE or like ChatGPT style assistants that just give you an answer,
Right.
not a list of links.
Right.
So the mission for this deep dive, I think, is to really understand what GEO is.
Okay.
How do we work in this new world
Right.
where being part of the AI's answer is the goal?
Right, because it's almost like the AI is writing the blog post or the article or the content now,
Right.
or the listicle or whatever it is.
Exactly. And we just want to be mentioned in it.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very strange change.
Yeah. It's a surprising development for sure.
Yeah. So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
What is generative engine optimization?
Right.
Because SEO was all about keywords, backlinks,
Yep.
meta descriptions, all of that stuff.
Yeah, all the technical stuff.
Right, but now we've got these AI systems that don't just, search, they synthesize information.
Yeah, so I think what's fascinating here is that with traditional SEO, it was all about ranking.
Right.
So you wanted to be number one on that first page.
Number one.
GEO is about being included in the answer.
Okay.
So it's not even about ranking anymore. It's just, are you in the knowledge base
Interesting.
that the AI is pulling from?
Okay, so it's not just about being findable.
Right.
It's about being trustworthy enough that the AI is going to use your information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want the AI to look at your content and be like, yep, that's good.
Right.
That's a reliable source.
Yep.
I'm going to pull from that.
Uh-huh.
So, we can kind of define GEO as all of the strategies that help optimize your content, not for a human reading it,
Okay.
but for an AI.
For the AI to read.
For the AI to read, exactly.
Okay.
And this means enhancing your credibility signals
Uh-huh.
to make sure that the AI knows that you're a good source.
Right.
And it means structuring your information in a way that AI can easily digest it.
Right.
So it's all about making it easy for the AI to understand what it's saying.
So the search engines are basically becoming like these giant summarizing machines.
Yes.
They're taking all this information. Yep.
And spitting out a little answer.
Well, this little summary.
And we want to be in that summary.
Want to be in that summary. That's the goal.
Okay, so the question then is, if we're not just chasing keywords,
Yeah.
what should we be doing?
Right.
How do we actually optimize for this new world of, generative search?
Yeah. So that's the big question. And we're starting to see some important strategies come out.
Okay.
The first is entity-based optimization.
Okay.
Think of entities as like the core concepts that your content is about.
Okay.
So people, places, things, ideas.
Okay.
AI is not just processing words anymore. It's understanding these concepts
Uh-huh.
and the relationships between them.
Interesting.
So instead of just focusing on individual keywords,
Right.
you need to build a rich network of these entities
Oh, it's
within
how-
your content.
So it's like the AI is building like a map
Yes.
in its mind.
It's building a knowledge graph.
Right, and we need to fit into that map.
You need to fit into that graph exactly. Okay, so instead of just targeting, cheap flights to London,
Right.
you would create content that's about like Heathrow Airport and Gatwick Airport
Attraction.
and, the London Eye and all the different things
All the things that are related to it.
that are related to it.
Yeah, so it understands the whole picture,
The whole London universe.
the whole London ecosystem. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Another really important strategy is creating what's called conversational content.
Okay.
So these AI models
Mm-hmm.
are designed to create answers that sound natural
Okay.
and human-like.
Right.
So your content should be structured the same way.
Okay.
So think about framing your content like you're answering someone's question,
Right.
in a natural way,
Like in a conversational way.
a conversational way,
Right.
like back and forth.
Right. So it's less like writing an essay
Exactly.
and more like, just having a conversation.
Exactly. Like if someone asked you a question on the street,
Right.
how would you answer?
Right. Okay, cool.
So yeah, anticipate those follow-up questions and make sure they're addressed.
Yep.
The AI is looking for clear, well-structured explanations.
Oh, okay.
Um, the third really important thing is authoritativeness and trust.
Okay, so that was always important
Always important.
in the SEO world, but
Yeah.
even more so now
Even more so now.
with this AI.
Because these systems are designed to prioritize high-quality information.
Okay, so how do we prove to the AI that we're trustworthy?
That's a great question.
I mean, are we sending it our resume or
Yeah.
our
Credentials.
credentials?
Yeah, so a few things go into this.
Uh-huh.
First, make sure you're citing all your sources.
Okay.
Be really meticulous about that.
Okay.
If you have experts that review your content or back it up,
Right.
make that clear as well.
Okay.
And then this is the most important thing. Use structured data.
Okay, no, what is that?
Yeah. So structured data is also known as schema markup.
Uh-huh.
And it's basically like giving the AI a map of your content.
Okay.
So it's machine readable,
Uh-huh.
which means the AI can easily understand
Yeah.
all the information on the page.
Yeah.
So it knows what's important
Right.
and what's not.
So it's like we're labeling all the pieces?
Exactly. It's like labeling all the pieces so the AI knows exactly what it's looking at.
Okay, cool. And then the fourth thing was multimodal content,
Yes.
which basically means using different kinds of media.
Different kinds of media, exactly.
So not just text,
Not just text,
but images, videos.
images, videos, audio even.
Okay.
So the more variety you have,
Mhm.
the better.
Yeah. Okay, so like if I have a website that's about, baking,
Yeah.
it's better to have pictures of the cakes.
Pictures of the cakes, videos of you baking,
Right.
maybe even a voiceover explaining it as you go.
Right. Okay. And that just gives the AI more ways to understand
More ways to understand.
the content.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them more information to work with.
Okay. So now I think there's a really important question here about what happens to traffic to our websites.
Right.
Because if the AI is just giving people the answer right there on the search results page,
Yeah.
are they even going to click through to our website?
That's the big question. And I think we are going to see a decline in direct traffic
Okay.
from search.
Right.
So it's not that getting the click isn't important anymore,
Right.
but I think the focus shifts
Okay.
to making sure that your brand
Mhm.
is present in that AI-generated answer.
Okay.
So you want your name
Right.
to be there,
To be associated with.
to be associated with it.
So it's almost like we're not even really trying to get them to the website anymore.
I mean, you still want them to go to your website,
Right.
but it's more about establishing that authority
Okay.
right from the beginning,
Right.
even if they never actually click through.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you see happening in the next 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this all going?
So I think traditional SEO is not going away,
Okay.
but it's going to become much more integrated
Right.
with these AI-focused strategies.
So it's not either or?
It's not either or, it's both.
It's like SEO plus.
SEO plus
Yeah.
GEO.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think we're going to see the rise of voice search continue,
Right.
which means that this conversational content strategy is going to be even more important.
So we're going to have to design our websites,
Yeah.
not just for people, but for these AI systems.
Robots.
For the robots.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. So any advice for our listeners?
Yes.
What can they do today to get ready for this?
Start playing around with AI tools.
Okay.
There are lots of platforms out there that can summarize your content for you.
Okay.
So you can see how AI is interpreting it.
Right.
What are the key points it's extracting?
Right.
How is it rephrasing things?
And that will give us some clues.
Exactly. It'll give you some clues about how to optimize your content to make it more AI friendly.
So see yourself through the AI's eyes.
Exactly.
Okay, great tip.
I think so.
So to sum it all up, we're basically talking about a huge shift in how we find information online. I
Yeah.
mean, the days of just trying to get to number one on that search results page, those days are over.
Yeah.
Now it's about getting into the AI's brain.
Exactly. You want to be part of that knowledge base
Right.
that it's pulling from.
Yeah, and this makes me wonder about, what other parts of our online lives
Right.
are going to be changed by AI in the next few years.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just search anymore.
Right.
What else is going to be affected by this?
Yeah, what are the next frontiers for AI?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
For sure.
Well, thanks for doing this deep dive with me.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It was really interesting. I learned a lot.
Me too.
Okay, great. Well, we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good.